My name is Lisa Matta. I've lived in Sacramento County for 28 years. I'm a volunteer with the United Sovereign Americans, not a spokesperson. United Sovereign Americans is a nationwide organization with thousands of active volunteers in over 20 states. Today, I come to you as a concerned citizen, sharing alarming information about our state's voter database, uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by highly qualified and credentialed data teams. While the numbers are staggering and somewhat difficult to comprehend, one thing is clear: they don't add up. Just like your checkbook must balance, so must our votes. If you had 10,000 fewer dollars in your bank account than you had deposited, you would certainly want to know what happened. If a company that has that significant a discrepancy in their books, they'd most certainly conduct an audit. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election, using only official data provided by our state election officials, shows that the 2022 elections may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We are not saying one candidate won over another or that any election should be overturned. The state's official data from certified elections shows the votes are counted as one. The votes as counted were not all valid and accurate under the law. Tonight, we'll present you with a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty plaguing our elections, along with a summary of our findings and the laws that apply. We're happy to meet with you and go over this information, including more detail about the specific findings. If you have any questions that I cannot answer right now, I will commit to getting you the answers in writing from the United Sovereign Americans executive team as soon as possible. This data and our request for an investigation have been shared with state election officials and law enforcement. It's essential that you, as our representatives, make it clear that these must be taken seriously. Tonight, we come to you, our closest elected representatives, for support and action. We're asking that you listen to the resolution, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage. Your action on this resolution will illustrate your dedication and support to the concerns of your constituents and your country. Thank you. Our next three speakers will read the resolution in three parts, and our final speaker will conclude our presentation.
Next speaker is Naomi Bogdana Enos.
My name is Naomi Ennis. I've lived in Sacramento County for 20 years. Resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. Whereas it is a recognized civil right in the United States for every citizen to have free and fair elections, quote, and the right of suffrage can be denied by a debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote, just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise, end quote. U.S. Supreme Court, Reynolds versus Sims, 1964. Whereas it is the duty of our election officials to guarantee our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation. Quote, Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty devolved upon him while so engaged. The evil intent consists in disobedience to the law, end quote. U.S. Supreme Court in Coy 127 U.S. 731 1888. Whereas our constitutional system of representative government only works when the following four tenets of an election are upheld. 1, the voter rolls must be accurate. National Voter Registration Act, 1993. 2, votes counted must be from eligible voters. U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, Section 2. 3, the number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. 4, there can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. Help America Vote Act, 2002. Whereas, open source audit of the California 2022 general election conducted by California citizens has uncovered evidence of massive inaccuracies that appear to violate both federal and state laws, including 5,886,198 ineligible or uncertain registration violations found within the California State Voter Roll Database. 2,776,939 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrations. 123,785 more votes counted than voters who voted. No one knows who cast them. 2,776,849 apparent voting violations are in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for a valid federal election. The maximum allowable system errors for the 2022 general election in California was 90.
Please wrap up your comments.
Certification as defined by law and attestation of accuracy and compliance appears to have been fraudulent and illegal. Next, speaker 3.
Elena Troncon.
Good evening. My name is Elena Trujan. I've lived in Sacramento County for 34 years. Whereas this findings trample legal accuracy requirements of the voting system during a federal election. Accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture and report the specific selections and absence of selections made by a voter without error. Whereas the intent of the voters must be known factually before certification can be lawfully conducted. Certification of an election that varies from the law is an abridgment of the civil rights of the citizens, a fraud ab initio. United States versus Throckmorton, 1878. Quote, from time immemorial, an election to public office has been, in point of substance, no more and no less than the expression by qualified electors of their choice of candidates. End quote. U.S. Supreme Court, United States versus Classic 313 U.S. 299, 1941. Whereas the 2022 general election appears to have been invalid, depriving us of the guaranteed protection of our natural rights under a government duly and provably chosen by us, the American people, resulting in an incalculable damage to our families, our way of life, and the fabric of this United States. Therefore, we call upon our representatives to provide relief to the people and the assurance of domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable principles of law. Proof of citizenship, identity, and eligibility required to register and vote, not anonymous attestation. Voter rolls certified accurate and available for public review and challenged 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and address in person to a qualified official at each polling place. Hand-marked secure ballots similar to currency, where imaging technology is used for tabulation, the security features must be verifiable in ballot image. 4, systems, machines, security measures, infrastructure, and conduct are required to be compliant with federal law for fraud prevention regarding risk assessment, certification, testing, and implementation. 5, adjudication must be signed off by party, candidate, and trained citizen witness after being given full and effective observation rights. Candidates and trained citizens must be allowed immediate access to ballots, ballot images, and cast vote records, CVRs. Thank you.
Next speaker is Stan McNichol.
Thank you, council members, for putting your lives forward for the integrity and morality of this nation. Thank you. The certification by law for a valid 2024 general election, we've heard 5 points. These are 6 through 9 more with a resolution statement. And I'm Stan McNichol. I've been in Sac County for 23 years. 6, ballots, regardless of entry source, election operations and systems must maintain end-to-end chain of custody from voter to vote count to final canvass, including auditability and witnessed transfer with paper records. 7, a NIST compliant, randomized, statistically valid end-to-end audit with a 95% confidence level of all elections pursuant to the 14th Amendment. Section 2 must be performed. These audits are to be conducted by qualified, insured, and bonded security, forensics, or financial auditors, not personnel from within the election system. Reconciliation will include the vote count, real physical ballots, adjudication, cast vote records, CVRs, ballot count, qualified voter count, custody transfer, and all other paper and electronic election systems, including logs. 8, if the total of unique variances above is more than 10% of the margin of victory, a new election must be held in the state for those candidates affected, unless the issues can be provably corrected by a manual hand count and a full review of the records. 9, waiver of requirements is not allowed. Only end-to-end system compliance from registration through certification can guarantee the intent of the people is accurately recorded. So be it resolved that the Rancho Cordova City Council members stand in support with the concerns and remedies presented here. Thank you for being here. That's really significant, more than we realize. We implore the County Board of Supervisors, California legislature, federal legislatures, law enforcement,
Please wrap up your comments.
federal and state prosecutors, judges, and both California Secretary of State and county registrars of voters to cooperate and fulfill these with firm requests of the people, and I thank you.
The last speaker is Mark Mata.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. It's a blessing to be with you. Thank you. Continuing to read, my name is Mark Mata. I've lived in Sacramento County, Rancho Cordova specifically for 24 plus years. And I'm also a volunteer, not an official spokesperson of United Sovereign Americans. What you've heard tonight is a culmination of thousands of hours of work by our highly qualified and credentialed volunteer data teams from California and across the country. It's a powerful written resolution that you should have in your hand, outlining massive inaccuracies in our 2022 election from registration through certification. In it, you heard us ask for meaningful remedies that will proactively protect the validity of the 2024 general election for all Americans, nonpartisan thing. In fact, the resolution cited many U.S. Supreme Court precedents that support the need for such actions because currently laws are being ignored. There's no blame, it's just a fix. We want to fix this. Bottom line is the checkbook is not balancing, and we need certainty. The voting system, which controls our most vitally important right, the right to choose our representatives, is not producing accurate, noteworthy results. Do you think that these anomalies within our election system, a system which is part of our national security infrastructure, should continue to be ignored? Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. Large numbers of Americans, including many right here in California, have questions about the trustworthiness of our elections. I think that we can all agree, and we wish that this was not the case, but official data shows that these concerns are valid, and the law says that resolving them is essential in securing our liberty. How much is it costing us not to fix the problem? How much is it costing in terms of gross domestic product, our military or foreign policy, our health, the self-esteem of our children, the voting and young people. How much is it costing in terms of our dignity to keep contending or fighting each other? The cost is immeasurable, so we urge you to please agree by putting the resolution on the agenda. I think you have to do that. I don't think you can approve an agenda, a resolution is presented at the time. I think it has to go onto the agenda. But we ask that you would please put the resolution onto the agenda for next city council meeting and vote in support, please, of simply fair, honest, and valid elections. Our website showcases our initiatives nationwide and some extremely informative videos revealing anomalies and apparent violations of the law. The website is unite, the numeral 4, freedom.com, uniteforfreedom.com. And we urge you to take a look at that. Again, unite, the number 4, freedom.com. We appreciate the gift of your time tonight. And if I can answer any questions, I'd be glad to do that.